So hello guys, welcome to another video of 100 days of 100 coding questions challenge. Today is our 60th day of this challenge and we had completed 59 problem of the days on Leetcode in past 59 days. And let's begin with today's problem, that is problem number 885, that is spiral matrix 3. It is a medium level question and the topics that are included in this question is array, matrix and simulation. So it is a matrix question and we have to just traverse the matrix and we have to traverse that matrix in the spiral order. So let's see what is this question saying, and it is saying that you start at the cell R start, C start, and of an row into column grid facing east. Okay, so basically we had given a start, column start, and row start indexes. That is, it is a cell in which we have from which we have to start the traversing. Okay, and the matrix is of column into rows. Okay, so rows and columns is our size of the matrix, and we have to face in the east direction, okay, in the right direction. So if we are standing on this index or in this cell, we have to start traversing from right of our right. Okay, so after that the northwest corner is at the first row and column in the grid, and the southeast corner is in the last row and column. You will walk in the clockwise spiral shape to visit every position in this grid. Whenever you move outside the grid's boundary, we continue our walk outside the grid. Eventually, we reach all columns into row spaces of the grid. Return the array of coordinates representing the position of the grid in the order you visited them. Okay, so it is given that you can walk outside the grid also. Okay, suppose you have reached the boundary of that grid, so you can go out of bound of the grid and can come back from here. Okay, so for example, if you are on 9, you have to go on the 10, so you can walk from outside of the grid and reach 10, and then you can start traversing your grid. Okay, so it is given. So we have not given the matrix, we have given the size of the matrix, so we have to return the indexes of every cell after traversing our matrix in a spiral way. Okay, so at first, suppose if I am on 1. Okay, so for example, in this matrix, I am on 1. So for moving right, I have to reach 2. Okay, so I have to move right one step, and after that one step I have to move down one step. Okay, so after right I have to move down one step, and after moving down, if I have reached 3, then I have to move left side. Okay, so it is the way the spiral works. So after right I have to move down, and after down I have to move left. Okay, so for left I have to move 2 steps, and after moving left, I will reach 5, and from 5 I have to do upward movement, and in the upward movement I have to do 2 steps. Okay, so in upward I have to do 2 steps. Okay, after moving upward 2 steps, I have to move again in right. Okay, so in right I have to move 3 steps. So I have in right I have to move 3 steps, and after moving 3 steps in right, I have to move downwards. Okay, and in downwards I have to move 3 steps. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So I will reach 10. So after moving right, I have to move down. And how much step in down? 3 steps in down. Okay, so after moving down, I have to move in left direction. So it is a pattern that is right down, left up, right down, left up, and again after moving right down, left up, I have to move again right down, up, left. Sorry, left, and then up. So in left direction, how much I have to move? I have to move 1, 2, 3, and 4 steps. Okay, so 4 step in left and 4 step in up. So as you can see, here are 2 patterns. Okay, one pattern is right down, left up. So it is the direction in which we have to move, and how much steps I have to move is in the pair of 2. So for right down, I have to move 1 step. So for left up, I have to move 2 steps. For again right down, I have to move 3 steps. For again left up, I have to move 4 steps. And same, if I will move right down from here, I have to move 5 steps, and it will continue. So the steps will increase after 2 iterations, or after 2 movements, the step will increase. And after iterating or moving in all 4 directions, I will repeat the directions. Okay, so just like right down, left up, and right down, left up, and right down, left up again, till I have reached the 0, 0 index. Okay, the last index will be my 0, 0 index. If I am starting from here, the last index will be my 0, 0 index. And this approach will help me in traversing all the indexes or all the cells in the matrix. So let's start the coding here. So for left direction, if I am on this cell, that is 1, 1 comma 4. Suppose I am on 1 comma 4, And for left direction, how much I have to move? For for right direction, how much I have to move, and on which cell I will be on after moving one step right. So I will be on fifth cell. Okay, 1 comma 5. After moving one step in right, I will be on 1 comma 5. So what I have done here is I have add 1 in the columns and add 0 on rows. Okay, so I have added 0 comma 1 in rows and columns. I have added this number in for moving right. Okay, in the cell I will add 0 comma 1 for moving right, and for moving down I will add. So how much I will add? For moving down I will add 1 comma 0. Okay, so for moving downwards, I have to add 1 in the row and add 0 in the column. So I will reach this here 3. So it will be 2 comma 5. Okay, for moving left, I will how much I will have to add? For moving left, I have to add minus 1 comma, sorry, 0 comma minus 1. 0 comma minus 1. So in the same row I have to move leftward, so I have to decrement my column. Okay, so it is for moving left, and for moving upward I have to add minus 1 comma 0. So in the same column I have to move upward, so I have to decrement the row, so I will add 0 comma minus 1 comma 0. So as you all know, for moving right I have added 0 comma 1, for left I had 0 comma minus 1, for down I have added 1 comma 0, and for upward I have added minus 1 comma 0. So I will be representing the direction in this way. Okay, I will be represent the directions in this way. So let's go on to the code. So on the I have written the code already. So for directions, I have a 2D array that is 4 direction, and every direction have two features, that is 0, 0 and 1. So for right, I have added 0, 1 as I show in this 0 comma 1. For down I have added 1 comma 0. For left I have added 0 comma minus 1, and for down I have added minus 1 comma 0. Okay, so by referring this I have made a 2D array of directions. Now I have to find the size of the matrix. So what is the size of the matrix? Rows into columns, it will be the size of my matrix. So I have stored it in M. It is my size of my matrix. Okay, so now I have made a resultant vector that is a 2D vector, and this is the process of making a 2D vector in which every row contains 2 elements, and every element is 0, and we have n number of elements in our resultant. Okay, so for my first element of my resultant, I have to be on the cell that is given to me. Okay, so what cell is given to me? R start comma C start. So at first I have to make my path from that given cell. Okay, so my given cell is R start comma C start. So I have stored this cell in my result. Okay, so on the 0th index, and the 0th index of my 0 index is R start, and first index of my 0th index is C start. Okay, now I made 3 variables, that is count, steps, and indexes. Steps is nothing but the number of steps I have to increment. Okay, so after 2 steps I have to increment my step. After 2 steps I have to increment my step. After 2 steps I have to increment. After 2 steps I have to increment. So after every 2 steps I have to increment my the steps that I have to move. Okay, so in this indexes. What is the index? So after moving sometimes. Okay, like after I have directed all the directions, like R comma down comma left comma up. So I have only 4 directions in my directions array. So what if I have reached all these directions and now I have to move right? So my direction will be increment, and the increment after the 4th index I have nothing in this. Okay, so I have to redirect this index to my right direction. If I have 0, I have to move right. If I have 1, I have to move down. If I have 2, I have to move left. If I have 3, I have to move upward. Okay, so what if I have 5? For that 5, I will map my value to the 0 index. For 6, I will map my value to first index. For 7, I will map my value to the second index. Okay, so by I have to do this by making the index modulo 4. The index modulo 4, by modulo 4, because it is the size of the array, so it is used to map the indexes, the out of bound indexes to the inbound indexes. Okay, so it will map my index to my existing indexes. Okay, so for just like if I have index 5, it will map it to 0. If I have index 6, it will map it to 1. If I have index 7, it will map it to 2. Okay, so in this way, I have to process my things. Now, what is count? Count is nothing but the number of cells I have to insert. Okay, so if my count is 1, I have inserted 1 cell. If my count is 2, I have inserted 2 cells. If my count is 3, I have inserted 3 cells. And how much cells I have to insert? It will ultimately equal to the number of size of the matrix. So what is my size of matrix? N. So I have to insert n counts. So for till that I make a while loop in which count is less than equal to less than n. So it means I have to run the while loop till I have n numbers in my resultant array. Okay, so in this I have to make for loop just because I have to move number of times. Okay, so for 2 times I have to move this way 1 step. For after 2 times I have to move 2 steps. After 2 times I have to move 3 steps. After 2 times I have to move 4 steps. So this loops will get me the number of times I have moved. Okay, so for this move, after one move, I will make another step. After one move, I will make another step. And after the third move, after I have moved 2 times, I will increment my steps. Okay, so after 2 moves, I will increment my step. Okay, over here, I will increment my steps. Now, I have stored two indexes. What is that? One is dr and one is dc. So dr is direction of row and dc is direction of column. So for that index in which I on which I have standing on, so for that index the direction row will be my incremented value, that is for 0th index I will be on index of 0 comma 0, so dr will be 0 and dc will be 1. Okay, so I have stored these two values in separate variables, and I have made another for loop, and this for loop is for steps. Okay, how much step I have to move ahead. Okay, so after every column or after every time I have to move 1 step ahead. Okay, so it will be my less than steps. Okay, so how much step I have to move in one direction, it will show me that value. Okay, so suppose I have to move 2 steps in right, so this for loop will run 2 times for right direction. Okay, so now after that right direction, it will move down. After that down, it will move left for number of steps I have assigned it. Okay, so now R start and the C start will be my incremented value of dr and dc. R start, I have to increment dr in R start. Okay, so if it is 0, it will increment it by 0. If it is 1, it will increment it by 1. If it is -1, it will increment it by -1, or I should say decrement it by 1. Okay, so after getting the indexes of that column, if it is in bound of my matrix, I will store it, and if it is not in my matrix, it means I have gone outside of the grid. So I have to move inside of the grid, and then I will store the index which is inside the index my grid. So it is the check for if I am inside the grid or outside the grid. Okay, so if I am inside the grid, I have stored the resultant columns or rows in and make it R start and C start. My current R start and C start, and I will make count plus plus. It means I have inserted a count in it. Okay, so after this for loop, I will increment my index. After this for loop, I will increment my step, and at last, after getting all done by this while loop, I will return my result as result. Okay, so hopefully it will run. Yes, it is running fine, and let's submit it and see if it is running fine and passing all the test cases or not. Yes, it is fine, passing all the test cases and 51% faster than other users. So by this, I have completed the code of the day of today, and my 60th day of the challenge, that is 100 days of 100 coding questions challenge. And if you have any problem in this question, I will be leaving the solution link in the description. You can go there and tell your solution with my solution. I had uploaded all the solutions of our challenge in this repository, so you can tell any of the solution from here. So thank you for today.